Hello, I'm joined today by my colleague Chris Tomlinson from Finance Transformation UK. And we're going to talk about a topic which we think is extremely important for anybody who's involved in a project. We're going to talk about how you do project assurance. Chris, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Yep, I am Chris Tomlinson from Finance Transformation UK. Professionally, I'm an accountant. Don't hold that against me. But I've been running programs for over 30 years now. Spent most of my first career in retail, been up to finance director, and then spent about 10 to 15 years with various big four firms running programs, and quite a lot of time independently doing project assurance.
So that's really the full gamut. You've worked in the big four, you've worked independently,
Yep.
and you've been doing this at a program management level for a considerable period of time, internationally as well as
Internationally, from the US to India to Northern Europe, Southern Europe, all over the world.
Yeah. So for the uninitiated who've never gone through a transformation before, what do we mean when we talk about project assurance?
Project assurance it's effectively a second opinion, giving somebody the confidence to understand and feel that what they're trying to do is A, achievable, and B, has got some relative degree of success and a good positive outcome for the organisation. And what we're trying to do through program project assurance, transformation assurance, however you want to phrase it, is, as I said, going back to that, giving them a second opinion, giving them the comfort that what they're doing is the right thing.
Okay, well, it sounds imminently sensible. To what extent do you reckon it's embraced and done or performed at the moment? How many people would engage in performing project assurance?
I think very few people globally do engage in it. Some people see it as a luxury because a lot of people know that they're choosing to do transformation through, in my experience, one of two reasons. It's either there's been a catastrophic failure of something which has prompted them to do something, or they want to improve their performance, extend their service, extend their success somehow. So they make a decision to do something.
It's interesting. So you refer to it as people might think it's a luxury. How much does a typical transformation program cost?
Typical transformation costs in excess of 10, 15 million pounds.
So I couldn't imagine that performing a second opinion on that is one as difficult as performing the initial task in the first place, or could in any way be viewed as a luxury?
Yeah, it shouldn't be viewed as a luxury, but what people do is they get lulled, or organisations get lulled into a false sense of security it's a bit like nobody ever got fined for buying IBM.
Yeah.
We go out and we choose KPMG, or we choose Accenture, Deloitte, EY, PwC, I'll mention all of them just so I don't get in trouble.
Yeah.
And they assume that because they're buying that big four capability, they're buying the expertise and assurance that will succeed. No problem.
Okay. And does that typically turn out to be the case, or where do you see the value in that second opinion assurance piece?
The value really comes from the fact that you're talking to people such as myself, yourself, other colleagues within Finance Transformation UK, who've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got lots of scars on the back from running these programs, and knowing that even with global expertise from somebody like one of the big four, it's not always going to go according to plan. What you need to do is make sure that they've covered all their bases. What are they going to deliver you? What are they going to do in terms of making sure that they keep you on track throughout the program? Because it's not just a one-stop shop with the big four will do it to you or do it for you.
Yeah.
They're doing it with you, and you're going to end up with the result. They're going to be there for a period, then they're going to walk away. You need to be assured that what they've done, your people can actually continue to deliver and use going forward.
Right. Okay. It's interesting. Just in the earlier part of the day when we were talking to Mark Vincent about the success rate of projects. So if you're spending 10 to 15 million pounds on a transformation program, how many of them do you reckon succeed on time and on budget?
Hardly any, I would say.
Yeah.
I know there were some statistics that we heard earlier. So it's about 0.5%, I think, was it? Or
so
5%
of all major change programs are likely to be delivered on time and on budget.
Yeah.
I would have thought that. I don't think I could use the sentence transformation program project assurance and luxury in the one sentence, and that should be the case. I would have thought project assurance should almost be mandatory.
I would agree. It should be mandatory because you need to remember to look at both the qualitative as well as the quantitative.
Yes.
What you're doing with the program. So every program, every transformation should have a clear objective right at the beginning.
Okay.
Why are we doing this? What are we doing? And if you go through that, that's your qualitative statement. You want to state an objective that says we're going to become the biggest organisation in the world who delivers pet care,
Okay.
for example. So that's a very big statement. It's a very bold statement. But then you need to understand what goals you need to achieve to be able to get there. And using an old adage, what gets measured gets done.
Yes, true.
You've got to work out then. So if we're going to achieve these goals, which could be financial, they could be the number of resources, the number of successful operations carried out, then you need to look at, so what strategies are we going to employ? So you've got your qualitative, you've got your quantitative. Now you need some more qualitative strategies to actually, what we're going to do to deliver that. We're going to go out, and we talked earlier about getting the right people, and the right people might be appropriate for this organisation and not necessarily appropriate for that organisation.
True.
So you've got to look at your qualitative strategies, and then we come down to the basics of, we need to measure how we're doing with those strategies. We run a dashboard, you run some sort of balanced scorecard against it. But supporting that, what you need is, what everybody has at the end of the day is an action plan, a to-do list. How do we turn that action plan, that to-do list into something that can be measured? So when we've been talking about change, how do you measure change? How do you assure people that change is going on? So project assurance, program assurance, we can come in, give a second opinion to anybody who's embarking on one of these journeys to be a better organisation for whatever reason. But then we need to, it's probably good if you keep us involved, not as an operational delivery function, but as a checking function, keeping you on track.
Right.
Being objective,
Yeah.
really, is, and independent is key.
So, I mean, logically, I look at that and I go, major transformation program, possibly multi-year, beyond 10 million in the cost. It's not a full-time job to deliver assurance.
No, it's not a full-time job.
So, in
It's-
cost terms, it would be a fraction
Yeah.
of the full juggernaut that's in place.
Yeah, but what it does is, a second opinion is, I don't know, if you look up the dictionary definition or a statement of what does second opinion mean, it's an expert opinion on an expert delivery. So
Okay.
imagine you're in a doctor's surgery. You can go out and you ask for a second opinion. You don't go out and ask a man on the street for a second opinion.
No,
You go out
find
and
an
ask another
expert.
surgeon who's done a similar procedure in the past
Yeah.
to give a second opinion on what the expert is telling you to do.
That's actually a very good analogy, because let's face it, anybody who's reached the stage of seeing the surgeon and being given an opinion on something medical, it's a serious situation. So logically, you would rather hear a better story, so you go looking for a second opinion, or at least you want confirmation that the first person is correct. So yeah, I can see the value of assurance, all right.
Yeah. There's an element of it aligned to scrutineering as well in motor racing.
Okay.
All vehicles starting a race have to go through scrutineering. It's not suggesting that the people who've built the car in the first place have ignored all the requirements of scrutineering. Scrutineering just checks that the car's built correctly, the car's safe to run, the car's going to not necessarily perform, because scrutineering is not about performance, but with program assurance, you're checking experts, you're validating experts, you're giving an opinion, but you're giving an assurance, a comfort factor to the fact that what you're being told, what you're being suggested is the right course of action, and what you're hoping for is the right outcome, has some level of credibility and achievability.
Okay, all right. That makes sense to me. You engage in anything that's expensive, long duration, and massive impact in your business. I guess what you really want is a sounding board. That second opinion, they always kick the tires with somebody else who knows what they're talking about.
It is a sounding board. I mean, I've run programs, or I've been on assurance programs where I've effectively been sort of the parrot on the shoulder of the person who's leading the program.
Yeah.
Not necessarily there all the time, but in and out of the program at various points, key stages, always keeping an eye on what's going on, but coming in and being able to not suggest they do things differently, but just make sure that what they're doing is the right thing.
Okay.
You could help people slightly change direction, but you're not there. It's a little bit like a non-exec role. You're not there to run the program. You're not there to run the resources. You're there to make sure that what resources are there and what direction of travel they're going in, what deliverables are being achieved. Are we on time with this? Is the progress going according to plan? And that's really what it's all about.
Okay, it seems sensible to me. Do you think organizations, when they embark on a major change program, should, as a matter of course, allow for the insurance element as a fraction thereof of the bigger change?
Well, I'm slightly biased, but obviously, yes, I would. I would suggest they do employ somebody who can give them some sort of program assurance.
But do you what I was driving at was, do you really seriously think at the moment that enough organizations have embraced that as a sensible way to go about leading major change?
Answer is simple, no. Because if they had, I think there'd be more chance of the percentage of programs being successful increasing, because you get a second opinion on whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing to do. You get some assurance that your course of direction, your course of travel is the right way, and you can pause things. Sometimes these transformation programs go into too much, too soon, too quickly, without an awful lot of thought. And as we've heard earlier, there are divergent projects going on as well, which cause confusion.
Do you think that there's, because we discussed earlier, obviously the actual success rate of major projects is abysmal, if you were honest about it, in terms of delivering them on time and on budget. We've discussed the extent to which how difficult it is to embed behavioural change in organisations, and that the human aspect is the most important. Do you think there's a human factor at play in people not deploying the assurance angle or the assurance approach?
I think there's a partial one in as much as people don't like being checked.
Yes.
People don't like being watched, and it's not about watching. We're not there to stop you doing something. We're not there to tell you exactly what to do. We're there to make sure that what is being done is the right thing to be done. So
That's a very good way of looking at it.
We're not going in there to undermine anybody. It's a supportive function. It's a reassuring function. It's ultimately it's a collaborative people function as well.
Okay. In essence, it's reassurance.
It is reassurance.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, brilliant. That was very insightful. Okay, Chris Tomlinson, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us today, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.